has that great split push power. I'm not even sure if the people on the stream can hear me over the crowd right now. It's that loud. But Leona, that second ban being taken away from N-rated, and then the Renekton coming in right behind that.
But no Thresh ban just yet. You got the Leona one in there though, and I think that's right as well. We pinpointed it in the pre-game as well when we were going over the two teams, and you know, pointing out N-rated as one of the key players for this game. There is a Nunu ban coming out of Gambit.
We did see N-rated play that last week, and it was kind of, it worked out pretty well. He said he actually doesn't like playing Nunu at all, but to ban that out is kind of interesting. And there is the Thresh ban, Joe, is kind of expecting that one. I mean, you have to. Because you have to take that away from Edward. You can't let him play his favorite champion. However, Sona will be available for him, it looks like, if he does decide to go for that.
Well, let's see then what finally Gambit decide to ban out here as number 5. You can see that they're chatting away, getting themselves through this one. See, admin's just talking to Alex. Hopefully everything is running smooth on that side. And just as I say that, jinxed it.
Well, we did have that last ban up. I'm not sure exactly what the problems were, but Alex was the one to leave out of that lobby, so hopefully things will be fixed shortly, because, Joe, like, this, for me, is probably the highlight match of day one. Like, these two powerhouses going against each other.
I know what they've done wrong. They're on the wrong sides. We actually had this problem before with the first game. They should have been on the opposite sides, but they played anyway. I don't think really anyone caught onto that one. And the next game, we had to flip it again. So obviously, this third time around, it goes back to normal, but they were on the wrong sides again. So we're going to see them switched around. I'm not sure if we actually get a new ban phase here or what.
That's a good point. I don't really know what is in the rules, because, I mean, knowing you have that first pick, you could leave a champion open that you want to lock in first. I guess we'll find out when we do get back in there. I would assume, since they did start, that it would be the same bans, but we are being told that it actually will be fresh new bans.
Thresh new bans.
Thresh new bans.
It's going to be in there as well. But we'll have to see about that, and whether they decide, as you said, because you're on the different side, you may choose to leave something open when you've got that first pick available to you in the ban phase. So let's try again then with this one. And Gambit on the blue side against Fnatic on the red side. And first ban's going to come in here in just a second. I wonder if that gives them much time. Leona first ban out, Shen banned by Fnatic. So far, sticking to the plan, Nunu as well.
Yeah, actually, all the 4 same bans right now. So we would assume that Thresh would be the last ban at Fnatic, but we will see Gambit's final ban here coming in shortly. But having that first pick, I'm not exactly sure what they want to take out as their last champion, because they have a lot of champions they could go for, but there isn't a real rush for it to ban it out.
Yeah, and Gambit's last pick might be swayed by this one as well. We didn't actually see it there, unless I missed it right at the very end, but no, I don't think they actually picked a, banned a third champion out there, and they go for Elise in the end.
All right, that's a reasonable ban, because we've seen Elise in the top lane, we've seen her in the jungle, we've seen her in mid lane, and she's one of those really annoying champions that you can interchange between different positions in the game. And just like Jarvan, which we did see Ocelot run in the mid lane instead of in the jungle with Hercubot, there's a lot of champions that can do that. And now with their first pick, trying to decide what they actually could go for here. Maybe lock in Sona? I don't want to say they're not going to go for it, but we haven't seen Alex play him that much lately, or play her that much. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a... wow. Should always listen to Joe.
My crystal ball's working today.
Better than mine.
Seems to be, at least. So Kaylee's going to be the first champion locked in then. Let's see what Fnatic reply. Maybe, as you said, want to take that support away.
Yeah, well, looks like Nasus will be locked in pretty quickly, so
no messing around with that.
Looks like Cyanide's pretty well prepared to go against Diamond Prox in the jungle, so we might see Volibear actually come out as their jungler, or maybe even Udyr, which you did see at LMG quite a bit when they're playing against KT Rolster B. Not to mention there's a couple of Udyr changes coming up in the next couple of patches, which y'all should check out. And then with their pick here, I mean, you could go middle, but then again, you're not sure where Kayle really will go. We haven't really seen Diamond Prox play in the jungle, but it is always a potential.
Yeah, that's definitely true. In this, we've got 20 seconds for Fnatic to finish off their first pick from this one.
I was waiting for that.
So I was just like, I'm pretty funny, guys. Yep. Obviously, it's not going to be a Teemo. If it was a Teemo, I would be very, very surprised. And the crowd all disappointed, as though it was never going to happen, that it would be changed to Varus.
It kind of reminds me of Brazil, where we saw foreign players pick Mordekaiser, the crowd would boo at them, but when the Brazilian teams would pick it, they would all cheer.
Yeah.
Not much sense made, but Lulu, wow, we've seen Edward play in the top lane in a 2v1 situation. and just picked up kill after kill. He had,
that was when it was 5-1, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And he secured lots of kills in that game. That's what got him so high up there in the kill standings, actually. And it looks like they may go for a Kog'Maw.
That would be actually really interesting if it does get locked in, because you do have, it does in fact, you do have Nasus there to get that Wither down and to shut him down completely. Also, since you do have Nasus locked in, we won't see a Jarvan, we won't see someone to lock him down in that Cataclysm, because we do typically see Genja run the Ghost Cleanse kind of combo.
Yeah.
And with anyone that can lock him down, you pretty much destroy him instantly. That might be interesting. It might be a little bit of an early pick for them. It just seems like there wasn't necessarily a need for an AD carry when you could also pick a jungle.
Unless that KL is in fact the jungler. The crowd is cheering for Teemo right now.
I want to see a team give it to him.
I'm not sure, as you said, how well it's going out over the stream, the sound of the fans, but I hope that you can hear everything that's going out.
I can barely hear you actually through this.
Yeah, pretty insane stuff going on. So, what will Fnatic have in there? They've got Varus and Nasus locked in here for their first couple of picks. You can see Yellow Star on your screen there. It's going to be playing, most likely at least, that Varus in this one. There is a Blitzcrank. The Blitzcrank, of course, another big, solid pick for Enrated. Who would have guessed that Edward goes towards Teemo? But Yellow Star, Enrated obviously is an amazing Blitzcrank player, but we should not forget that we've seen this before from them where they picked him Blitzcrank but sent him top with Soaz.
It definitely did happen, but the thing is they don't have Leona open this time, which really worked out well for their combo. He is a phenomenal Blitzcrank, just like you said, and with that Blitzcrank, you don't need that terrain out of Jarvan. If you land a pull onto Kog'Maw, he's gonna die if he's running that Ghost Cleanse, so that really creates a nice opportunity for him, especially when you have Xpeke. Especially when you have Xpeke playing Twisted Fate in the mid lane.
Especially when you have Xpeke playing Twisted Fate in the mid lane. That's where you were going with that one, right? Yeah. Okay, good. So Teemo, I very much doubt will be actually the choice from Gambit this time around. Volibear is obviously a lot more of a probable pick, and a Kha'Zix.
I like that pick actually, because you have that ability to just jump into the back line, and then you have that KO ultimate to protect him. However, with having a Kog'Maw who potentially could get pulled in, you might need to say the ultimate for him as well. So you're really kind of torn between what champion you want to use that on. But over for Fnatic's side, they have a pick available. They have a nice amount of CC already built up with those 4 champions. Their last pick, which would most likely be the top lane, I'm going to say, over to Soaz, it wouldn't be bad for them to actually pick up a little bit more damage.
Like Teemo.
That could happen.
No.
Probably not, but they need a little bit more damage in my opinion.
Well, let's see. Obviously, it seems to be a bit of a tough decision from Fnatic this time around. They're not reacting to the crowd chants of Teemo at this point.
Zed is available.
Zed is available in this one. I mean, we're talking about top laning. We're talking about Soaz.
Yeah.
So he could play anything, as we've seen from him time and time again.
I mean, we see him play Lee Sin when he was already nerfed or balanced, and he's going for, looks like a Jace.
The Jace. He was the first player really to bring Jace to the forefront at Gamescom in the European regionals, actually.
Yeah, he played quite a bit against Shen. I don't remember exactly what team it was, but
it was Curse.
It was Curse, and Curse got destroyed by his Jace pretty much, but that gives him a nice amount of mobility, so they can easily chase down Genji if they need to. You have that Wither to lock him down, you have the acceleration gate, you have the overdrive on Blitzcrank. It's a really good team for catching someone, and also they have the damage to just burst them down if they do get that pull.
So, who's your favorites then from this one? We've gone a little bit through the lineups. Who are you fancying for this game, Jason?
I think I really have to give it a Fnatic. I'm just thinking about it because I'm not a huge fan of Kog'Maw when they don't have a great amount of protection for him. I mean, they do have the K ultimate, they do have the Lulu ulti as well, but that's kind of about it. I mean, we know Genji has amazing AD carry, but when you're a Kog'Maw with no protection running that Ghost Cleanse, and you have a team like this who can jump on you, it's gonna be very hard for you to get your damage down. So in the end, I think I have to get over Fnatic.
Well, we're gonna be kicking off here shortly. Gambit 2-0 up in the head-to-head matches here against Fnatic. Don't forget, this is first place versus second place. Fnatic have more wins, but their ratio isn't there. And this game would actually put them top of the league. If they manage to beat Gambit Gaming in this matchup, they would go top of the league. So this is an important one for both of them. Plus, it's no all and it's obviously not officially relegation, but almost so, the way someone would get dropped down into that third position where then would have to play that relegation later on in the season. This is a top 2 clash, but you know, first we heard the importance of being first for all of these players right at the start of the day, and no one wants to be second, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, with the relegation, it really is a huge thing that we, have to start talking about as the weeks progress, because playing for 10 weeks in the LCS just to be knocked out, it's kind of like a kick in the crotch, almost, I have to say, because you worked so hard to get there. You qualified once, and then you just have it taken away from you mid-season.
So we have a slight pause here coming in.
Who would have guessed?
Case of deja vu going on. But we have our admins up there to get that one fixed. It's actually a pause coming out of Gambit here.
I'm not gonna lie, a pause right now though kind of builds up my anticipation with this game, my excitement, because I really hope and I really expect this game to be so explosive, to be so back and forth between both teams.
Yeah, I think we're in for a real treat in this one. We can see that one of the admins behind Edward currently. In fact, both of them are in there, in the shadows at the back.
I wonder if Edward has the balls to troll an admin, because he trolls like everyone, but I wonder if he would do that.
Well, they're not usually the right people to troll, honestly.
Probably not.
They're not the people in. They're the people in the position of power almost, and you don't want to upset an admin, especially when he could. I guess we can say come in handy later on when you need pauses for what other kind of stuff. Looks like the French audience are certainly ready to be starting this one off, and it seems like the players also going to be ready to start off the game. So let's get into it then. We have Gambit versus Fnatic. Gambit, of course, on the blue side after we switch them around after picks and bans. And here we go. Jason, talk us through level 1. Can we expect anything?
Well, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to just kind of walk you through as I'm thinking about this, is that we have that potential flip on a Gambit, we have the slow as well, we have the glitter lance which can lock you down, and usually when we see any sort of invade, it comes out of the blue team. But the way Fnatic is kind of setting up right now, it looks like they want to be aggressive. They have a blitzcrank, so it's pretty much a giant sign blinking at you saying, hey, we're probably going to invade you, you should probably do something about it. And it looks like Gambit is responding to that just by kind of sitting down towards the bottom side of the jungle, just wants to be safe. But that 3-man stack right there, that's actually worried me a little bit.
Yeah, the interesting thing here as well, that Gambit didn't put any wards down on the top side of their own map, so of their own jungle, sorry. So we'll see if that really comes into play a little bit later on. Obviously, we have some of the most experienced tournament players here in this one, so we definitely can't count them out for making mistakes, but they do happen.
And I'm curious to see if they're going to give this blue buff over to Soaz in that top lane just to give him sort of an advantage. Actually, as he is backing away, it looks like he might even go into a 1v2 in the bot lane, which we haven't really touched on. But, Jace is one of those champions you have that potential to, because you have the ability to be ranged, you have the ability to poke down your the enemy champions. Also, the cash immunes in the back, if you can one-shot those, you're pretty well off. But the thing is, if you have Genja on Kog'Maw in a bot lane, why would you not want to send your AD carry support against them? Because Varus will just destroy Kog'Maw early on, and you have the potential to go for a lot of kills. However, if you send a 1v2 situation, you're not really going to get anything on him.
Well, Fnatic are still waiting here. Actually, Gambit are crossing over in towards the Fnatic blue buff, as Rated is going to pull the blue out here. Fnatic going to be taking that one away, and Darian goes in, spots the fact that they've taken that one out. But look at Soaz, he's going to face check. This could be deadly for him. He's going to get the acceleration gate down, but the first blood comes in from Genja. Brutal mistake from Soaz at level 1.
I don't even know what's going through his head right there. That was as we see a pole missing, but that was such a mistake on his part. I'm not sure if that was like a little bit of a delayed reaction in his brain, because we saw him walk in there and he kind of continued to go in there a little bit more, but you can't afford to do that, especially with the combo that Gambit has. They can lock you down and pick up that kill so easily. So first blood now going over to Genja, and you don't want to have a fed Kog'Maw ever.
You don't want to have a fed Kog'Maw, that's for sure. And that gives them an instant huge advantage. He started off obviously with that Doran's play, and the interesting thing is that they'd seen the fact that only Darian was in that top side, which I don't know if he thought, okay, well, if he's there, they're not going to go full on into our jungle, maybe, and that's why he's ended up going in there. But such a dangerous play, a bit reckless coming out there from Soaz, and that's a gift that you just can't afford to give to Gambit.
And one thing that makes that more interesting is Fnatic didn't ward to counter that as well, because they came in through the tops of the jungle. They knew if Gambit was going to go towards the red, they would spot them. But that kind of seems like a thing you would want to do, to put down that ward, just to make sure it's safe. We even saw Gambit invest a pink ward into that bush just to kind of deny any vision. But I'm curious to see if we're going to have any 3-man ganks on this bot lane, since Soaz no longer has that flash, and they have a lot of ward coverage to open up an opportunity there.
Yeah, a real interesting start, and considering Enrated said we've had close games against Gambit, it's just been one back over, not into range of the tower, but the Ignite is down, and there is the kill. Darian picks it up. Diamond going to be able to escape here as well. Darian takes a bit more damage from Yellow Star, but that is 2-0 to Gambit, 1 for Kha'Zix, 1 for Kog'Maw. Doesn't get much worse than that after 4.5 minutes.
But still, that was a great play by Diamond Prox. You really have to give it to him, because entirety of LCS, he's been in the right position pretty much every single time. He opened up that kill with that Ghost, with the Bear running straight on him. You can't really escape that ever, and giving his top lane that nice advantage. And one thing that was interesting, just to point on, is that Silent actually sat bot lane quite a bit. Got a little bit of farm right there, got a little bit of experience, but he had his red buff completely wide open, and it looks like Diamond, instead of going for that, he wanted to create that kill opportunity, and in the end, obviously it does work out for them.
Let's have a look at the CS here between these two AD carries and the single lanes that are coming in there. 29-30, or 30-30, let's call it all even between the AD carries. Top lane is actually the same as well. However, obviously that kill for Kha'Zix, he's just picked up that tier. That's going to give him that bit of extra time, that extra sustain in the lane. Actually, Jace just picking up the Doran's Blade as well to go back down into this bottom lane. Still has Elixir from before. Yeah, that Doran's Blade, he's pretty much buying that specifically just to last hit under that turret, since they are shoving the lane into him every time. That's going to help quite a bit. As you're seeing the top right now, Fnatic, they're being very aggressive. They want to take this turret, looks like, as soon as possible, and then switch down to that bot side and let Jace farm 1v1 against Kha'Zix. However, Darren has that advantage right now. That tier, I mean, obviously it's not going to give him any sort of damage right now, but just the ability to sustain in lane with those Void Spikes is going to make you such a nuisance in lane. Oh, we see that the top turret is very low. Let's have a look down towards the bottom turret of Fnatic and see exactly how low that one is, how much damage they've done. Okay, we can just about see it there in the top right corner. Just a little bit of damage being done as Darian now in trouble in this top lane as well. Ward put down. Can Fnatic get in there? He's got the pots running from this one. Actually, Enrated turns around. Yellow Star will turn around as well. But Twisted Fate, he's going to ulti in and he's going in. Can Peke get in? There's the flash. He's not really got much mana. Turns around, but Peke still manages it. And I don't think he quite realized how little mana he had from that one. In the meantime, Diamond here starting off with the Dragon. He's going to have Kayle and the bottom lane coming up to help. Yeah, great turnaround by them to actually go for that, knowing that they committed so many ultimates into the top lane. And funny enough, Xpeke, he just hit level 6 when he did ult up towards that top side, but luckily picking up that kill, Gambit will lock that Dragon down and give them a nice little bit of a goal lead, sitting on 1100 advantage, but this top turret will go down for Fnatic, and they're able to pretty much pick that turret off of that Dragon. That turret will be finished off here by the minions, and that leaves us with a 400 gold lead for the Russian side of Gambit Gaming. There you can see the individual differences, and actually between Varus and Kog'Maw, he's rather ridiculously even right now in terms of their gold totals. What else do we have in the middle lane? He's also within 30 CS there, if I could actually it's 130, whatever, Joe. He's very close as well there. The CS obviously is in favor of Kayle at this point. Kha'Zix also starting to pull a little bit ahead of Jace, but he should be able to farm that back up once they get towards the tower. And something that's a little interesting over on Xpeke's side, he picked up a needlessly large rod. So to me, that kind of says, hey, I want to go for ganks, I want to go for kills. I'm not trying to go for any sort of split push. And usually you see, you know, Sheen into a Lich Bane, which we did see earlier today. But he wants that damage. He wants to go, looks like, for an early death cap just to create those opportunities for his team, because with how it's happened so far, having Soaz getting killed once, he had Enrated kill once, they're going to need to pick up some kills here to really kind of even out how this game is going to progress, because when you're against a Kog'Maw as the game progresses on, it's going to be harder and harder to win those fights. Yep, and Kog'Maw at this point does have that pickaxe plus a longsword in there as Darian was backing away, and Enrated finally coming back up towards this top lane. There you see the Void Spikes already doing decent little amount of damage on towards Yellow Star. He has got the Cutlass now up there with that Doran's Blade. Jace actually might be pushing out here. In the end, decides against it. Edward was actually down to half health.
And you see Cyanide visiting that bot lane yet again. He's been forced to stick towards the spot sign just to keep that turret alive. He hasn't ganked, I think, at all this entire game. And by Edward and Genja being so aggressive by pushing that turret as much as possible, they're really controlling where Cyanide is going to be throughout the game. And the thing is, I mean, if you get a Wither on a Kha'Zix in the top lane, if they went for a gank earlier on, it's pretty much impossible to miss that pull.
Yeah, they should be able to get in there for that one, as Yellow Star and Enrated are headed down here somewhat. We've got wards on the blue side of the Gambit jungle. They know that their two players are in fact inside of that brush. There is the pull, not quite landing onto Alex Ich. Peke had pulled the stun card out, just ready for that one as well. So if that would have synced up, that could have been dangerous stuff. Alex, of course, is himself now level 8, so has that intervention to stop any real damage coming onto it.
I do see Cyanide actually visiting towards the top, so I think he's just going to walk right by Darren as he does Wither. They're not really going to go head-to-head against each other. Obviously, Cyanide won't do much damage right now. Ooh, he's expecting getting caught.
Wow, flash in there. Diamond actually is going to go in. There's the ultimate coming down. Peke in so much trouble. They managed to get that one. Diamond still tanking up the turret. He's going to die here, but they get 2 kills. Can they get the 3rd? Now it's Alex Ich who's tanking up the turret. Final hit comes out. Cyanide is still alive. Finally finished off by Darian, but in comes Yellow Star from the side. Can he catch up? Doesn't have flash available, but Soaz is coming in from the bottom side as well. Darian will be able to get himself to safety. Bit of a crazy encounter.
Such a great play to Gambit right there. Diamond knowing he was going to die, he ended up just staying in there, allowing Alex to pick up another kill, kill off of that. You see Fnatic pushing down this turret right now, but that was such an insane play that Wither coming out Cyanide was able to pick up a kill on Alex, at least give him something, but still, Fnatic losing 3 members right there.
3 men down. That was, what would you call it in terms of a trade there? Was it a good one?
It wasn't ideal, but Fnatic was able to pick up 2 kills off it, which in the end does kind of save the entire gank that we saw. We also saw quite a bit of summoners and ultimates used on Gambit's side to really make that happen.
And look at this again, we are seeing Fnatic trying to get in there for the steal, but there's a bear sniffing around. Alex Ich coming in. They've managed to get the Varus ulti on towards Alex Ich. We are going to see Twisted Fate coming in from the side as well, but he's going to be pinned down by Darian. They've managed to get the kill onto Alex Ich. Enrated goes low. Edward picks up that kill. Now Peke lands a stun card in onto Darian. Can they finish off? Flash over from Peke. He's taking a lot of damage, goes down, but does get the kill at the same time. And that will be a 3 for 2 for Fnatic, and they're gonna have that blue buff away, and now Edward having to run away. They go through the acceleration gate. He's safe though.
And Joe, that is exactly what that entire fight we just saw right there was off the back of that last fight. They knew Alex's ultimate wasn't up. They knew they had no flash on, or sorry, Ghost on Diamond procs. They had that easy opportunity to go in there, and because of that entire fight they had before, they went for it, and they ended up coming out ahead, picking up those 3 kills, taking that blue buff away from Alex, and pretty much coming off with another turret as well. So a great play by Fnatic overall right there.
Really, really entertaining game. 300 gold is all that separates these 2 teams. Dragon will be up in a minute, but before we go there, let's visit the items somewhat and see exactly what we've got. Nash's Tooth done here for Kayle. On the other side, the Sheen plus the Needlessly Large Rod. That is the Blade of the Ruined King. First item for Varus. Yeah,
it seems like a lot of AD carries love picking that item as their first big buy. To me, it's still kind of something that's no, not interesting, I say that word a lot, but it's kind of, it can be pretty much talked about either way, whether it's worth it to pick up, because you don't really get a lot of benefit off of it unless they have a lot of health in the other team. And we've seen with how Season 3 has kind of progressed is that people stop buying that early Sunfire, that early Warmogs. So the Blade of the Ruined King doesn't give you that advantage early on, but as the game progresses, obviously that slow it gives you, the extra lifesteal, and the damage, the percent damage you do based on health really comes through.
And then Raiden just rushing his way in towards the middle. Always a threat. Being pulled in there and then locked down by what Fnatic can throw you. But Gambit starting to get themselves into position for Dragon.
They don't have a pink ward though, so this could be really interesting for Fnatic to kind of turn it around. However, Soaz is in the top lane right now, so Gambit, they could take this very quickly, but we do see Fnatic closing in on them.
Fnatic come down. Edward gonna get stunned, then healed up by Kayle, but will Fnatic be able to get in there? The pull just flashing by Genja. He gets stunned up by Twisted Fate, but Peke low on mana here. Are they gonna keep going?
But they stalled long enough for Soaz to come down, so it looks like they will deter Gambit from taking this dragon. Great play overall by Fnatic. Even though they knew they couldn't really contest in a fight, they were able to stall it long enough to stop it from happening. However, it's like Gambit is going for it yet again.
Yeah, they stopped it for a while, but how long? And Raid's grab will be off cooldown now, and that could mean trouble for one from Gambit, and it's going to be Darien that they pull in. There's the intervention, and Raider goes low, and he's picked off. Barras ulti comes out, but Cyanide dies. Alex Hitch on the top side was found there in the end, and that will be a 2-for-1 in favor of Gambit as they try to escape here. Soaz just poking from that right-hand side. Yellow Star is still there as well, and actually Genja going to follow into this one. The slow not quite getting where they wanted it. He will flash away just outside of the Void Spikes.
That entire fight was so amazing off of Gambit's side because they had that wither on Edward. So what happened was Darien actually stepped in front of him, took the pull from that, knowing that he has that leap to get away if he needs to. It got the KO ult on top of it and just fought. He went balls to the wall, did as much damage as possible. We do see the TF ultimate coming in. It looks like he might catch Edward.
Yeah, they're going in on towards Edward, and he's destroyed. Actually, the Q through the acceleration gate there from Soaz really helping out with that damage. And that will be an easy one locked up. It's 9-8. It's now 2,500 gold with the Dragon being started off here once again by Fnatic. Enrated acting as the wall here at the front with a danger of pulling one of them in. Diamond actually is going to go very low, and it's finished off there by Yellow Star. Can they get any more? Jay's poking through, but Fnatic decide to back away. The Dragon is still alive. Would you believe it? After all this, Darien going to jump in. The Void Spikes over the side. Soaz going very, very low. Darien slowed down. He's not deterred by that poke from Jace, but they forced Fnatic completely away.
Yeah, I was going to say, that didn't really seem like a fight that Fnatic could win in the end, but getting that kill on the Diamond Prox either way did help out quite a bit. Alex, coming in with full health, was able to just turn that fight around. Looks like they should be able to pick up the Dragon off of this, and that Dragon, I mean, he's been alive for so long. Everyone's been trying to kill him. Looks like he will finally go down in the end over to Gambit.
Yep, that will be a Dragon picked up by the Russians, but look at where that leaves us in gold, Jason. 200 is the difference. That's with Fnatic having a 2-turret lead at this point. Gambit got an advantage in CS in the top lane there with Kha'Zix. They are behind in the middle lane by 10, but they've got a 20 lead in the between the two AD carries. That's a 100 gold difference there for Kog'Maw. Obviously, he got the first blood in, even with Yellow Star being currently 2-0, Kha'Zix 4-1. We see it time and time again how dangerous a Kha'Zix with a lot of gold, with a lot of kills is.
Yeah, that's exactly something I want to talk about right now is look at what happened as the game progressed. We had a lane switch on Fnatic's terms. They wanted to send their AD carry support top lane. In the end, it didn't work out. Darien is 4-2 right now. We see Yellowstar getting caught.
Yeah, Yellow Star surely will get exploded here. Genja actually gets the kill as Darien CC to high heaven is going to go down in the end. Now they're chasing onto Genja. Suncard cleansed away, and they've turned around because the bear is charging in from the side. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough damage, but he's going to try and stall long enough for Alex and Edward to come in. Where's the flip? Hey, not quite going to get it. Intervention is down. Peke stuns up Diamond. Can they get through onto him? There's a pull by Enrated. But Peke is being chased down. He's going to be finished off there. It's Volibear that picks it up. Edward getting another one, and Rated is heading south and will be safe.
But look what's happening right now. We have Stars pushing up that top, and we have Sonnet in the middle lane pushing as well. They might be able to pick up a turret or maybe a turret and a half off of this. That was a great job by Fnatic to stall as long as possible with that entire gank. And in the end, Enready was able to survive off of it. Look how low that turret is. I mean, that was just off of 1 kill. Gambit got 1 kill, almost lost 2 turrets. That is completely not a good trade for Gambit in the end.
Why does it leave us on gold now? 400, 350, let's say.
Double from last time.
Is the difference. Well, I suppose it did in that respect. You're right with that. Kog'Maw is now 2-0-2. And that's the danger. We talk about it all the time of how Kog'Maw late game may just come back and haunt Fnatic at this point. But as you rightly pointed out, 2 inner turrets on the top and that middle lane are now very, very low and open for the taking, especially with Peke, with that Lich Bane in there, able to get in there, with Cyanide as well, who can do good chunks of damage to those turrets.
And one thing that's kind of making me curious about how the game is going to progress is, yes, we do have a 2-0 Kog'Maw, and you never want to have a fed Cog, but if Cyanide could get that Wither onto him when he can't cleanse it away, for instance, if they get a pull and knock up and he ends up using it to get away earlier, or we see the Varus ultimate land on him, he's not going to escape that Wither in the end, and he's going to be dead weight to his team. I mean, we had Jab talk about it earlier. If you're going to pick or actually, I think it was Aranea. If you pick a Nasus, you want to go against a champion that's really reliant on that auto attack, and Kog'Maw is that champion.
Well, things quieten down somewhat here in Gambit versus Fnatic. A top of the table clash in the European LCS. First place being Gambit to second place of Fnatic. Here we go, Peke coming into the bottom lane, misses the wild cards completely, but the Varus ultimate will hit, and that could be the big one here. Are they going to pull Yellow Star in? No, and at the top lane they're pushing in as well. Let's get up there, as we are seeing Darian go very, very low, finished off by Cyanide.
So Fnatic picking up 2 kills with their great play for them overall. If Xpeke didn't miss that wild cards, I don't think a flash would have had been committed by Yellow Star right there. So, and then a little bit of misplay, and we're getting caught in the weather and a red buff Nasus.
This is really, really bad. Jace moving in on top of him, puts a wild growth on himself. There is the acceleration gate coming down. That's going to help Fnatic get right on top of him once again. Good slow from Edward, but surely not going to be able to escape. Not now with the wither down. 13-11 Fnatic.
And Fnatic picking up 3 kills right off the back of each other. That was overall just a great job by them in terms of putting the aggression on in each different lane. They had bottom lane where you had Xpeke teleport or ultimate in, and then you had in the top lane that combo of Jace and Nasus. How can you escape that with the acceleration gate, with the wither? Overall, great job by Fnatic right now. They really opened up the game, and that 200 gold they were talking about has been blown wide to 1,000. I say it blown wide to 1,000, but we know when they have 2 teams like this going head to head against each other, that really is a lot of gold at this point in the game.
Well, let's have a look at the items, because they've changed a bit since the last time we talked about them. Jace with the Black Cleaver finish, and we have Kha'Zix, who also got that BF sword plus the Vamp Scepter to head up towards a Bloodthirst there for him, and Aegis for Diamonds. Volibear, we've got Locket of the Iron Solari finish for Nasus. That Lichbane is now done for Twisted Fate, as well as the Nash's Tooth over with Kayle. And Kog'Maw, take us through a little bit about that one, the Infinity Edge and Boots of Swiftness. I'm
trying to think. The Boots of Swiftness reduce the effect of movement slowing effects on you by 25%. I am trying to remember if that really affects Nasus's Wither, if it really makes it come off cooldown quicker, or if that's tenacity directly. But in the end, it's going to help give him that mobility he's going to need. It's going to keep that Wither not as effective as it should be against him, and that's a perfect pickup by him. Infinity's Edge, a great item to start off with. You're going to be able to get in that back line when the team fights finally start happening and just siege away at every champion that comes near you.
There is turret number 3 for Fnatic, taken down by Xpeke in the bottom lane. So all outer turrets are down. Top and middle inner turrets are definitely open for the taking here, especially since we know how much Peke really likes to get in behind enemy lines and do that damage. So that's definitely not out of the question in this game coming forward. But you know, Dragon in 30 seconds, that's the hot spot for the next fight, surely.
Yeah, and then looking at how the game, and we're talking about those 2 turrets in the mid and top lane, Dragon will be the next point of contestation. Yes, the fighting. It's going to happen there next. But with having Xpeke pick up the Lichbane as the item, as his first like kind of real item built up, and the death coming up right after, they have the ability to go for some split pushing now, because they could send him top lane, have the rest of his team, potentially go bottom, and with that Wither, the crowd's still going crazy about the wards, but with that Wither and the acceleration gate, they have a really good team to disengage if they need to. If you get that Wither right onto Diamond Proxy, he won't be able to flip you, he won't be able to catch you, and that'll allow Xpeke to just keep pushing as much as possible, which he's doing right now on the bot lane. He's farming non-stop.
Well, Fnatic here stood on top of a Warden. Well, Darian managed to avoid every single bit of damage that was thrown at him from that one. Gambit have brute forced their way in. I should really call it bear forced their way in, because it was just Diamond who comes running in there. I said this before, it's psychological. No one likes a bear running right at you. And it's proved correct in that situation as well. Cyanide gonna be back to 8. Gambit gonna force this middle lane out, which will give them positional advantage then to go to Dragon. But look at this, Peke has pushed the bottom lane out himself, but will Fnatic want to trade a middle outer turret for that?
I'm pretty sure Fnatic can actually hold this quite easily. We saw Xpeke actually bouncing between Dragon and this bot lane, because we saw Gambit heading towards the Dragon. He wanted to stop it, wanted to prevent it. With the ultimate, he's gonna get that vision. He should be able to jump away in towards that mid lane.
He's going to middle lane.
Oh, he's going for it.
This is a great move, possibly from Fnatic, as Darian down to half HP, and pretty much all of Gambit went down to cover that bottom turret. Now they're going up towards top, because that was low from earlier, don't forget. They've got a good wave of minions coming in. Jace's shot blast will clear that out fast enough, and that is no turret that's going to stay alive for too long. Or is it? As I say that, the Void Spikes come out, just about stop it. Here we go though. Yellow Star going to be pulled off by Diamond Prox, but he's almost alone in there. Darian going to dive right into the middle of them, but Soaz will kill him. They're going to keep going forward. Alex has got the intervention. There was the wild growth, but that won't save him. Genja going low as well. He will have to use a cleanse to get away, but Cyanide is chasing after him and rated off to the side. Xpeke goes down to Edward. He won't last much longer than that. They let Genja escape in the end. Well, that's because they want that one final hit onto the turret that I thought was going to come in from the minions, but Darian obviously exterminated a lot of them with those void spikes.
Such an amazing play out of Xpeke right there. I'm not sure if you caught it, Joe, but he landed that gold card right on a diamond when he's about to flip Yellow Star. He missed his hail of arrows, his E, wasn't able to slow him down enough, so by stunning him, it created the opportunity for Yellow Star to get a little farther away, get some distance, and then you had Darian jump into the back line, which it seemed like a little bit of a mistake because they just threw every single form of CC they could at him. They knocked him up, they silenced him, and they just blew him up instantly. And Fnatic, just the calls they're making, we talked about it in the highlighted players with N-rated, I'm sure he was yelling, go straight for Kha'Zix, go straight for Darian, blow him up, and then we'll proceed into the next target.
Well, I mean, Darian almost did the work for him. He jumped right into the middle of them, so...
You don't need a blitzcrank when you have a Kha'Zix jump into your team.
If he just jumps in, yeah, you don't need to pull him. That's always a bonus. But, ironically, Dragon is still there after all that. But Fnatic doing a great job, and you can bet your bottom dollar that once Destiny comes off cooldown, we'll see Peke again trying to force the action in these lanes. There's a couple of wards put down in middle. Peke is now pushing out towards the bottom side of the map, and he's going to go straight through them there with the wildcards. Darian coming down there as well, but Yellow Star and Xpeke could probably have him if he ends up getting caught out. Fnatic are finally pinging towards Dragon.
The roaming that Fnatic's doing so far has been so spot on. They haven't lost one single turret so far in this game. The top turret, I believe, is the lowest for them as it's sitting at about a third life, but they're able to hold on to this, and through that, they're able to really strangle Gambit on gold. They are heading for Dragon right now. I believe they are strong enough at this point to actually take it away from Gambit, but we do have Alex Ditchy, have those home guarded boots coming in, and it looks like Gambit will just give it away.
Gonna be running through. Oh, failed smite there, yeah. And well, the ultimate out of Cockmore would have actually been enough to steal that one in the end, so can thank themselves that they managed to cover that one in the end. But that leaves us with a 4.3 thousand gold lead now for Fnatic over Gambit. This would, if it works out that way, how it's currently going, be their first win over Gambit this season in the European LCS. But something tells me this one is not over by a long way. Yeah, no way at all. You still have that Kog'Maw who's so deadly on as the game is going to progress. He's working towards, I want to say, a Phantom Dancer, just because he'll be able to run through the minions then, because he's going to need to be able to kite them through, his own minions, enemy minions, or any sort of way, any sort of advantage he can get, he's going to need. But that item is coming up very shortly. You see Yo start chasing down Darian, but Darian, he hasn't built much. I mean, look at his items compared to his counterpart of Soaz. I mean, it's 4-5-3 for the kill death assist for Darian, and then you have a 3-1-8 Jace, and the item difference is just kind of ridiculous at this point. However, he is sitting on about 1,700 gold to back with, and I'm curious if he's going to back and pick up his Manamune, or actually, I'm not sure what item he would go for next. Maybe a Warmogs. Well, we're going to find out. He'll be wanting to spend that one, that's for sure. Not holding on to it for the rest of days. You can't spend it when you're dead. Well, technically you can in League of Legends, so I guess that statement doesn't quite count here. Yellow Star again pushing this bottom lane out. Obviously the outer turret was taken earlier on. Fnatic now in the jungle of Gambit, starting to get those wards down, actually using the pull there of N-rated to bring the red buff out for so as to have. And Yellow Star will surely be joined here by the rest of Fnatic, but they've got options. The Yellow Star is going to ulti down on towards Darian. Twisted Fate going to join the party as well. Can he get the card down? Not quite. Oh, what a pull! They pulled Diamond back. He was trying to run in for Twisted Fate. Wild Growth comes down, and Gambit are trying to fight this one here. Diamond will now back away from that. Doesn't want to be too involved in the action. Well, they've taken the turret here. No kills, though.
And you saw right there what happened. Gambit, when Diamond Prox got pulled in, they had to use both ultimates, that Lulu ultimate and the K ultimate, just to keep him alive. And we saw Xpeke come in. That was a great play by him because he knew that Yostar caught Kha'Zix. He popped the ultimate just to give him vision since he was stealthed up, and he came down there, but it seemed like a little bit of a miscommunication right there, and he did escape, but still, in the end, picking up that turret. They're lengthening their goal lead even more. They picked up a lot of really crucial items. As you see a red puck coming out of Soaz, which may lead me to believe we could potentially see Baron coming up, or Baron attempted by Fnatic.
Yeah, some big items that we just saw being picked up on that last room, that last shopping trip back. Phantom Dancer for Yellow Star. On the other side, Diamond also getting that runic bulwark in there, and that was pretty much it in terms of big items completed, but there was a Giant's Belt here, Giant's Belt there. We've got one on Jace, one on Nasus at this point as well. And if we look at Twisted Fate, I mean, Rabadon's Deathcap, Lich Bane, got all the workings, but the final recipe there of the Zhonya, so he is very, very dangerous, XPK, at this stage.
Yeah, we're really going to see that Messiah play come out of him, where he's going to ult into the enemy team, pop that Zhonya's right as he gets in there, and makes it so his team can get a nice positional advantage over them. But he is just so fed right now. Ooh, not that close, I guess, in the end, but still. He's going to get he has the damage he needs right now at this point. He has the ability to split push really easily with that 522 AP, not to mention pretty low cooldown on his ultimate, only 104 seconds at this point. He can open up an inhibitor turret, and it looks like they might not even be going for Baron at this point. Maybe they don't want to give Gambit a chance to get back in the game and get in a really bad position for Gambit to engage upon them in that Baron pit.
There's another award going down. Crowd enjoying that one. I mean, Gambit did it all right there. They put a bunch of wards down in the top side of their own jungle, knowing that they wouldn't have vision of that. And,
right.
You know, it's a crucial point at 28 minutes in, almost half an hour into the game. It's a crucial part of the map to have vision over. Both teams having that Oracles now in their inventories is also very important. XPK again going down to this bottom lane, wants to keep pushing.
He's really putting pressure on Gambit, forcing someone to react to him, and at this point, I don't think anyone can actually 1v1 him right now. Maybe Darien, because he has a Hex Drinker, but still, I think XPK, with that Zhonya's done, he could easily solo him in a 1v1 situation, which allows the rest of Fnatic to just go around and do as they please. They can push turrets, they can bait Gambit in somewhere, and just allow XPK to keep that pressure on, keep forcing Gambit to react to him. Because that's what Fnatic's doing. They're making Gambit react to them. They're not giving them Gambit the advantage to really make Fnatic be the ones to stop them from doing an objective. And they're really forcing Gambit to kind of be out of their comfort zone, because Gambit's usually the one that's aggressive. They're usually the ones that are making the plays, making the other team do something about it. But Fnatic is in the driving seat at this point.
And look at that vision that they've got sorted out here. They've just seen Edward put another ward down. That will be taken away. Cyanide quite happily to go into that brush. There's the ward there. He saw the bear just hanging off on the side, but he is going to take this ward down. Actually, they fling Cyanide right into the middle of them. Not sure if this is a great idea. Intervention comes down on towards Diamond. Wild Growth comes in. Here comes Kha'Zix from the side. Diamond is surely going to die. Yes, he is. There it is. Peke is the one that picks it up, and they go in towards Genja. They can't do without this Kog'Maw going forward, and Genja now running for his life. Shock Blast comes in from the side as they take down Twisted Fate. Big burst damage coming out. Soa's going very low, but they get the finisher. Cannon Raider now take down Genja. There comes the Q out of Varus. Genja somehow staying alive from this one, but Yellow Star has the vision, flashes in, ace Fnatic.
And that was Gambit starting off that fight, getting that flip on the Cyanide into the enemy team, but he was so tanky. He has the assist he needs with that Warden Spell, with that Giant Spell, just to tank up the enemy team long enough for the rest of the team to get in there. And we saw just Darien, he was just blown up because of XPK, because of that vision from that ultimate. That stealth won't do you anything during that situation, and Yellow Star was able to just clean up one by one.
Crazy stuff. And that is now a 7,000 gold lead. It's building nicely for Fnatic, but let's not forget about the words that we heard from them earlier. Our games have been good for us so far, but always a silly mistake has cost us the victory. It'll take a little bit more than a silly mistake as the crowd goes even more crazy about a missed ward this time around. I think Edward might have realized by the crowd reaction that he's just walked over the top of one. Probably. In that one.
And looking at as the items progress, we did see a Random's Omen picked up on a Cyanide. So basically what Cyanide is just a walking slow bot for his team. He hits the Wither onto Genja, pops Random's Omens down just to kind of slow them up and let the rest of his team follow up. It's really hard for anyone on Gambit to actually dodge the pull now off of Enrated, especially if they keep fighting in the jungle like this. And they kind of have to put someone in front of whoever's Withered to really eat the pull. But in the end, when that happens, you're going to commit the Lulu ultimate and the K ultimate just to keep them alive when you need to save it for Genja or maybe save it for Darien.
Okay, that just again on that bottom side of the map is going to have a tasty few minions to take away. As you see Diamond there, just a bit of poke coming out from Yellow Star. Takes a quarter of his health. There's Darian diving in there. He's going to get trapped underneath the turret. Intervention was used, but they turn around and they're going for this one. Yellow Star is surely going to get the kill. No, Wild Growth will save Darian. The pull just flashing by Genja, who can do a ton of damage himself, but surprise, surprise, Peke is pushing in this bottom lane.
I never would have guessed him to be backed right now. Looks like the rest of the team trying to close him from behind him, but he has the ultimate available. It's not going to matter in the end. I don't think he's going to get the inhibitor off of this. Actually, with the Lich Bane, he could potentially get it, but he pops the ultimate, and he will be able to escape here.
See ya.
Maybe. Oh!
That's just such great play from Peke. I mean, he's opened them up a Baron now. They've all gone back there. Peke TP's in towards the middle, and he's like, okay then, my team's just going to back away. We're going to take this Baron.
And look at the ward coverage they have. They see Gambit coming in. They should be able to pretty much hop off this if they need to. They are going to take Baron and pretty much turn it into a fight.
Here we go. Diamond rushes into the middle, gets the grab. Intervention will save him for now, but when that runs out, he is surely a dead man. He runs top side. Zhonya's was used by Peke. He will be finished off here, and actually it's looking pretty decent for Darian, who gets in there, but the rest of the team going to turn around. Here comes Cogmore to do a final bit of damage before he's finished off. That was a 3-on-2, but Fnatic got Baron. Edward now caught out of position as well. So as chasing over towards those wolves. Can he get tabs of him here? Has he got vision?
Oh, he's got
yes,
boards.
he has. He knows where the Edward's going from this one. Misses the shot blast, but that should be about it. Edward doing a good job to still avoid him here. Can he escape? Go on, Edward. That Yordle running away, but in the end, he's caught down. So, in the meantime, Yellow Star's still pushing here. Gonna put the ulti down on towards Alex Hitch. Can he get the final blow? There is intervention. Barrier used by Yellow Star, and the auto attack gets the ace.
Great job by Fnatic right there. I was a little skeptical about how Soaz chased out Edward for so long, but they still pick up the inhibitor off of that. The inhibitor turned as well, and they have the bot wave pushing with super minions. Fnatic, after this, they could back, buy up, and potentially end the game right here. This could be their first one against Gambit in the LCS.
Let's have a look how much gold they've got right now, because after all that coming in, they must be sat on a stack. Yeah, 2,800 for Jace, 2,300 for Varus as well, so gonna be good times when they go home to spend.
And look at the map right now. Fnatic has not lost one single turret, Joe. When do we ever see games like that anymore in the LCS, especially with Gambit on the other side, who is used to being so aggressive, pushing the turrets down very early. This is an insanely well done job by Fnatic, and they seem to have Gambit just read like a book.
Yeah, they are looking so strong coming in today, and of course we will be seeing Gambit versus SK later on as well. And SK will be watching this one with bated breath, realizing that, you know, they're definitely not unbeatable at this point. Fnatic looking good. A second random Zoman has come in now for Jace. What else? Warmogs for Twisted Fate. So Peke can survive a little bit longer when he decides to push wherever he needs to. And if you look at Varus, I mean, Infinity Edge, Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer, and the Last Whisper. That's a scary build.
Yellow Star's been playing phenomenal this game. We've seen him do so well in Misfortune, as we mentioned, the picks and ban phase, but he's showing everyone his Varus is spot on as well, especially like his Caitlyn on top of that. He's playing exceptional, and he's really being the backbone of their team right now. Then again, expect those ultimates, the pressure he's applying has really opened up a lot of opportunities for Fnatic, and they've been capitalizing on every single one of those.
Oh, here's a pull. Misses out from Enrated. But they've got the clearing ability. They're going to push straight through towards that turret. Soaz is happy to tank it up as Darian dives in there. Intervention comes down. Wild Growth comes down. But that's two ultimates that aren't going to keep him too healthy from this one. The pull goes straight down the middle. Darian stunned up. No kills of this one so far. And Fnatic down to half with quite a few members. But Alex Hitch going to be cornered off. Yellow Star knocks him low. Gets Polymorph. There's the first kill. It's Soaz to take down Cogmore. Can they get the game with this one? Maybe. Inhibitor will surely fall. There is Diamond going very, very low. And, well, they'll let him run away. You can run away from your base. We'll just take the win. Fnatic moving in. First Nexus turret goes down. The second will follow. Alex Hitch has to flank away. And Fnatic focusing on the Nexus. They